Greetings, everyone. Rogue Contractor here, and thought I'd do something a little different on this one and talk about basically life as a contractor and when it comes to vacations and getting the hell out of here for a little bit. So, kind of stuck in a situation right now where I've been in my location for over 1 year. Moving on to talk about the R&Rs. So normally, like on an average contract, you would get an R&R where you can take a vacation every 6 months, and you can get up to 1 month. Pretty much that's it. Every 6 months you get a month off. I've been on contracts where we took vacations every 3 months or every 4 months. That's pretty common, especially the 4 month one, which is not too bad. So every 4 months you would get anywhere from 2 weeks to 21 days, depending on where you were in your contract and how long you've been on that contract, and you know what the company was available to give. But you were going to get at least 2 weeks every 4 months, and so the 90-day one is actually pretty nice because every 90 days they're going to give you 21 days off. That saves the company money because you're working less, you're going home. And you're home more, you're spending more time with your family, you know, which is great, you know, of course, because I've been doing this for a long time. So just a little rundown. I have been doing this for a very long time, but there was a period there too where I did live with my wife in Qatar. We were together, we worked, she worked, and I was working. This is before kids. And so for the past, 6 years now, I guess, my oldest daughter that we have is 6 years old, so she's been back in the Philippines for the past 6 years, and we're working towards, you know, getting back into that'd be a whole nother discussion, but getting back into those regions where like we could have a place, live and work just like normal, just like we would in the States, anywhere else, but we're just working overseas. But talking about the vacations, so I'm in a situation now where I've been in my location, this location here, for over a year now. And that's due to the pandemic. That normally does not happen. You know, I've got stuck downrange. I do work amongst 3 countries, not just in the country that I'm in, but I won't go into details on the other countries. But I've been downrange. I've gotten stuck and had to stay down there for several months. And then when I got back here, you know, of course I did quarantine. And one of the things that we were running into is that a lot of airports worldwide have, you know, closed their borders. Closing their borders means the airports just shut down. There's no flights coming in. You do see flights. You'll see flights coming in. There's a lot of cargo coming in. They still got goods coming in. You know, they have to import and export anyway, but you don't see any of the commercial flights. Right now, this airport's open. Everything is open. I hope that we don't ever go back to that. I know. And I feel very confident. I would say I feel very confident that we're not ever going to go back to a lockdown where nobody's able to go anywhere and we're just stuck in place for, you know, at least 3 months to 6 months. You know, I don't think that will ever happen again. I think that was like overkill. We were unprepared. We didn't really know, you know, what we were facing, and there was a lot of panic. And it was just like, you know, just hit the stop button. Let's just put everything on hold for right now. And it ended up kind of making things worse. I know the World Health Organization has even come out with statements saying, "Hey, you know, it's the cure, or at least, you know, the deterrent is actually worse than the disease itself. We can't have that, you know. So we're not going to close down anything. We're not doing any more lockdowns. But there's a very, very, very real possibility that that the airports and the borders could close up again. As a matter of fact, for most countries, they're probably already at that point where they've closed everything down. This country still is open. We can still get flights in and out. But I'm in a situation now where we are leaving this country from East Africa and going to the States, and then going from the States back to East Africa in the midst of a pandemic. So as you can imagine, when you're coming in and your passport is stamped East Africa, they know exactly where you're coming from. They know, you know, well, you've been gone for a long time. This is a pandemic. You know, you're looking at, you know, being quarantined. You know, you could, you know, land in the middle of a major pandemic in some city like, say, Washington, D.C., Virginia, you could land in Dulles, which is a typical place that we land at, and you could be stuck in quarantine there if you were in the midst of flying and all of a sudden, a pandemic outbreak just happened and they were shutting everything down. You arrive, you're negative, but they're going to put you in quarantine. They're going to test you, and I've had that happen to me. I arrived back here thinking, wow, I finally came back, from being stuck, immobile, downrange, couldn't move. Get back up here, and the first thing they did was stick a needle up my nose, up both nostrils, test me, tell me I was negative a couple of days later, stuck me in quarantine for 14 days because they wanted to monitor, so it happens, and going back to the vacations, when you're working overseas, your family, and I'm not the only one in there, there's a lot of soldiers that was over here, and the majority, all the contractors, all the civilians, DA civilians, which is Department of Army, or DOD civilians, Department of Defense, DOD contractors, which I am actually not a DOD contractor, I'm a private contractor, so I work for a company that contracts with the DOD, and I'm not going to go into details on my company, but we ran into situations where we were just stuck and we weren't moving, and it's become so iffy. If we go, we're okay, our company is still working. If I go on vacation and I stay there for a few days and end up locking everything down while I'm there, I'll end up getting stuck there for months, and I won't be getting paid. I won't be making money for my family. And I know there's a lot of families right now suffering in the States, so they haven't gone back to work. Some of them can't go back to work because there's no job to go back to. So you really have to take that into consideration. You have to think, do I want to keep providing? Do I want to keep making money? Do I want to keep putting food on the table? You really start to prioritize, being with family is important. There's nothing that beats that. Putting food on the table is so important too, and keeping money, so that way you can continue on. Now, luckily, I've been employed through this entire pandemic, and we haven't suffered as far as that, but we have hurt for the fact that I've not been home for a year. As a matter of fact, September, October, November, I've been gone for 15 months now, and probably not going to make it back to my family in the next few months. And that's just with the way situations are coming. We know that there's a spike in cases back in the States. We know that there's a possibility there's going to be more lockdowns, or at least there's going to be some closings of borders and some flights, And even as a U.S. citizen, when you're coming from a place like this, they just, what would be the point of going home for 28 days if I got to spend 2 weeks of it in quarantine, and not getting paid and being stuck, and then no guarantees that they're going to actually get me on a flight and send me back over there once my vacation is up. So my choice, as was, everybody here, was to just, continue working. And it's tough. It's tough on the families. It's tough on the people that are here working. It's tough on these soldiers. Everybody is here, by volunteer. Everybody, every single person here. Don't misinterpret that. There's everybody. Nobody was forced to come over. And if you don't want to be here, you can always go home at the same time. But then what are you going to do? It's hard enough. People aren't working back home anyway. Imagine trying to find a job and you're just showing up after years of being away. So some of us are kind of stuck here, but not, by force. It's by choice, So the situation being what it is with the pandemic, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I don't know what's going to happen in the next few months. It's looking promising with some of the treatments that are coming around, with remdesivir and the CCR5 treatment, the antibody treatment that they're doing, monoclonal antibodies that they're using to treat people with. And I think the treatment's going to be really the sort of a catalyst before the vaccine that guides us, puts us in a direction that we can start curing ourselves and opening the economy back up, because now we have at least a treatment for coronavirus. That's happening. That's on the way. And that's something that people need to realize. I mean, it's not readily available to everybody right now. President Trump did receive that treatment. So did Chris Christie. There was a lot of them, and they went in. They tested positive on a Thursday or on a Wednesday. Got sent to the hospital. So within a 5-day period, received treatment, and then were tested again and tested negative. Think about that. That's promising news. You tested positive, received treatment basically over the weekend, and came back and tested negative, and been negative ever since. The question is, like, how long are they negative? Are they going to be immune from the coronavirus from this point going forward? Nobody knows those questions. And what are the long-term effects down the road? Nobody knows. But it's looking good right now. So I'm really hopeful that within the next year, before my next vacation, that everything starts to open back up and kind of goes back to normal, and we can come and go freely, more freely than we were. I'm a big believer in masks if they're used properly. There's a lot of just wear a mask when you come in and stand in line. Like, for instance, in the galley here, okay, we're standing in line, we're wearing masks. We're only wearing masks when we're actually in the galley, but we're not wearing masks when we're sitting at the table. People aren't wearing masks when they're getting back up. Not only that, we're still sitting at the same tables. We're touching the ketchup, the salt and peppers. Everybody, one person sits down and touches everything. The next guy sits down and touches everything. The napkin dispenser, but then we put our mask back on and turn the plate in and leave, So I don't think that that's an effective method, I think there should just be to-go plates. Get your food, you go in, you get your food, you go, and you come back to the office or the room and you eat there, If they're going to really do social distancing, if social distancing actually works, but we really don't even know if it's truly effective, if it is, curbing the spike or the people catching it, that'll be found out later on as studies continue, and that'll be months down the road. We're still a long ways away, but I really just wanted to kind of talk about, what we're going through over here and what it's like. And so I went on vacation in August. I'll give you a rundown of kind of what happened to me. Okay, so I was not in this country my last vacation. I was in another country. I wasn't even on this continent. I was in a completely different continent. And I'm not going to go into details of where I was and what I was doing, but I was somewhere else, and I went on vacation. We were just starting to hear, this is August of 2019, we're just starting to hear about coronavirus and that there was this outbreak. And you were beginning, towards the end of the year of 2019, you were beginning to hear the words pandemic. This is a new pandemic. Well, okay, we've been down this road before. I've been overseas for 17 years. Since 2003, I've been overseas. So for the past 17 years, I've seen a couple of outbreaks. I've been there when the swine flu was out, the avian flu was out, MERS, Middle East respiratory, which I said back, we were coming to Kuwait and getting the Kuwaiti crud. That was a major thing. I was like, and it was respiratory, it was a flu-like illness. And I was like, man, if this thing ever jumps over to the States, people are going to die in the States because, you're getting healthy people that are getting it, that are deploying, they're going over there, getting the Kuwaiti crud, they suffer for a couple of weeks and they go back. That was tough. And I saw a lot of friends get knocked down from it. I did not see anybody die from it, but that was a tough. MERS was a tough one. That was 2005, maybe 2006, I don't remember. It was 2005 or 2004, but it was way back there. And I saw some friends in my building get it. I did catch a touch of that, the Kuwaiti crud, which we found out later on was MERS, Middle East Respiratory Syndrome is what it was. And I built up, I guess, enough of an immunity off of what I had received of it that I never got it again. And it was just common. You came to it, people, you got the Kuwaiti crud, and you take time off, you'd be, at home for about a week maybe. And you'd be down. I saw some people just get knocked down and just tell you the aching. Now, I got to the point where I was sneezing so much because I was congested, I was coughing, I had a fever, uh, I sneezed so much during that time that my entire body would ache, because you know when you sneeze you tense, and you tense, you know, like you when you tense, and you do that like 1,000 times a day, you know, I'd have bloody noses. It got bad, you know, but I didn't get like completely down. I was down for a day or two. I think I called in and didn't come to work for like a day, and you know, I studied. I focus on, you know, drinking a lot of orange juice, trying to get as much vitamin C, because that's like old school training. You know, that's what your mom instills in you. You know, drink your orange juice, get that vitamin C, get out and get some sun. You know, and so I stick to that, and it helped me then, and I believe it's helped me now. As far as I know, I've been tested once for coronavirus, and I tested negative. And I was amongst people that allegedly had it. I don't know for sure, because I don't know if we were really getting tested when we was downrange. I know we were getting people that were getting sick, and they were locking people down in their tents. You know, I don't know if they had the means to test them, or if they just said, look, you're coughing, you're sick, you know, we're just going to call it coronavirus to lock you down, you know. But I did come back up here. I got tested, and I came out negative. And I attribute a lot of that to, you know, really trying to exercise, eat right, but the sun, getting plenty of sun, and even before the coronavirus, because I was already in the midst of doing that, I was taking this vitamin C right here, vitamin C. It's an orange juice packet. I stay on top of those, you know, and I don't do it for coronavirus. I actually do it because of, you know, some of the anxiety issues I was having that I've talked about on some of my other videos, and dealing with anger issues. A lot of people, you know, anxiety is a bad word. It is a bad word. People hear anxiety and they immediately think you're a little bit, you know, spaz, or you're timid or nervous or scared or something, and it's that complete opposite of what anxiety actually is, you know. Or actually, I guess maybe it's different for everybody, but I can tell you what anxiety was for me and what it is for a lot of people around here that deal with it. And we all deal with it on a daily basis out here. At least to some degree. Some people worse than others, but it's more of like you're angry a lot, and you don't deal with people well, because you're always seeing people as more of like a nuisance or a threat, or that they're trying to start trouble with you. And that's what I was going through. I had a lot of anger issues, and you try to hold that in. Well, when you're trying to hold back that anger, because in a way you know that there's, you know, maybe you're just thinking too much, and you know people aren't really trying to mess with you. But it's more than just a thought, like you're thinking it. It's also a feeling deep down inside. Hey, this dude's like really messing with me. You know, I'm, you know, getting mad. But you're trying to hold that back too, and it manifests itself in so many bad ways. You know, it really messes with your motor skills, your function, your social skills, everything. You know, so it throws everything out of whack, and you know, it's kind of hard to deal with. And you got to learn how to deal with it. And they've learned a lot. And like I said in one of my other videos, a lot of people out here who have a lot of dealings with it. Some of the older veterans, you know, who have been through the treatments, and they're taking care of themselves. They're following the health, you know, they're staying fit, and they're taking the right meds and the supplements. And like, you know, here's magnesium. I got potassium, calcium that I also take for it. And I'm not like an anxiety person. Like, I'm just walking around with anxiety all the time. I just felt like I had, you know, I was obviously was mad all the time, so there's a lot of negative energy. Well, why are you going to walk around with negative energy all the time? That's not right, you know. So I really made a change in my life. I focused more on exercise, and I focused more on diet lately. This year, as crazy as the years has been, and I've said this in so many of my other videos, that this has been, physical wise for me, mental wise for me, it's been the best year. You know, it's the craziest year that we've had, and I guess maybe I should you know, owe it to being locked down and being stuck in some remote places for such a long period of time, that it worked. You know, it worked. You know, I figured out a lot of things. I figured out diet. I figured out exercise. I figured out health. You know, I had a lot more time on my hands too. So the results that I had, to me, what I saw, what I was looking in the mirror before, and when I'm looking in the mirror now, and I see how much weight I've lost when I step on that scale, I see those results, and that keeps me motivated. And that alone just changed me. It changed, like, I don't want to go back to what I was doing before. I got really fit when I was in my 30s. I mean, I was in tip-top shape. And then I kind of let it go. I was moving around a lot. I was traveling to a lot of different countries, doing a lot of different contracts, a lot of different types of work. And, I kind of let myself go. And that was just the fact that there was no time, at all, anywhere. I should have made time, and I kind of blamed it on the fact that I was moving around so much. But the truth was, I could have gotten out there and done it. I could have been waking up. And I've always been the kind of person where I woke up really early and did my workouts anyway. You're traveling, yeah, you're going to be worn out a little bit more, but, you can still do it, and I wasn't. So, anyway, I feel like this has been a eye-opener for me. It's opened me up, and it's made me figure out a lot of things about myself, and I've learned so much. And I'm gonna tell you, man, like, if 2020 didn't come along, I don't know, I'd probably still just be in the same boat, definitely overweight. Definitely still feeling bad on the inside, not knowing why, not even trying to understand, and just still being aggravated and angry and snap at people, being short with people. That's the type of person that I was, and I don't want to go back to none of that. I want to stay positive, I want to stay healthy, and I want to stay lean. So I'm gonna keep working on that, and even for everything, for all of my accomplishments, and for just this year. Just these past few months, since May, really, I've still am trying to figure out everything. I'm still trying to figure out the exact amount of food, when it comes to trying to gain some weight, the right weight, not pizza weight that's what I call it. I don't want to put on pizza and hot dog weight. I want to put on good weight, lean weight, but I don't exactly know how to do that either. So it's still more research for me to do, try and figure out all that, the exact amount of calories. I'm not a real big calorie counter. I'm just sort of like, I know what calories I'm taking in for the most part, and I know what calories I'm burning for the most part, and I just try to keep, burning higher than I'm taking in, Still want to do a video on triglycerides and weight gain, and how, those two, one doesn't really create one is not solely responsible for the other. When my triglycerides are high, that's why I'm gaining weight. Or I'm gaining weight, that's why my triglycerides are high. It's both. If you're gaining weight, your triglycerides are going to go through the roof. If your triglycerides are going to go through the roof, it's going to keep adding weight to you. So it's like this cycle that you're in that you can't get out of until you start controlling one, and then you control both. And that comes down to sugars, carbohydrates. I've cut back on my carbohydrates. I found that I couldn't quit cold turkey. I absolutely have to have those carbs. So, but 80 to 90% of my meal right now, I'm trying that carnivore diet. I'm eating mostly meat. So 80 to 90% of my meal is meat. A lot of protein. And that little scoop that I have, which would be 10 to 20%, less than 20%, but probably more than 10, is rice. For the past 7 days, that's what it's been. It's been rice. And so it's made me feel a lot better. I feel better. I feel better on the inside. I feel mentally better. I feel like my interactions with people have been a lot more positive. My vibe, my outlook, the way I feel is just positive. I feel like I'm giving out positive energy. And I enjoy being outside and interacting and talking with people. Whereas before I was like, I just want to get the hell out of here, screw all you people, I'm going to the office. That's the way my whole really sort of outlook was, for years there, and it seemed to just progressively get worse each year, and to the point where, I was like, I'm either going to end up on Xanax, and which I don't know if I could still do my job if I was even, on like those kinds of meds, or I could do something to make a change, but I didn't really realize I needed to make that change until this year. And once I started going through that change, from January to March, into February, March I was getting stuck down range, and I started to research it more, have more time, and I started to exercise a lot more, and I started to really focus on diet, from the research that I was doing, and then seeing the results. So when you see the results, you feel good. You're like, I'm doing it. This is working. This is happening. That's positive. That's positive energy, and it's coming out. And all that does is create more positive energy. It makes you want to go out there and do it again the next day, and the next day, and the next day. and you want to set those goals, and you want to complete those goals, and you want to see more results. And it's just like positivity starts creating more positivity in your life, and then that filters out into your work and into your relationships and into people that you're around, and it just sort of blooms, and I feel so much better. I feel like I just came out of this dark place for such a long time there that I was in, and I feel better now. Getting back to the vacation side of it, I really do need to get home to see my babies and to see my wife and to see them. I see them every day. I talk to them. Thank God we are living in a day and age where you can hold conversations face to face, with your family, with your loved ones, and they see and they don't forget you. It's not just a picture on a refrigerator anymore. It's real time. And that's wonderful, but it's not enough because it's not physical contact. So I'm looking forward to hopefully getting through all of this. But in the meantime, it is what it is. And I'm stuck. I'm stuck in Africa, And, my wife, she is from the Philippines, and she's worked overseas, so she has a very good understanding. We're on the same level, her and I. And, I wish she was with me. I wish that, I'd stayed in Kuwait or Qatar, but jobs come and go, and you take a job, and she got pregnant. Well, we got pregnant, and, of course she went home to take care of the babies, and I thought it would be a couple of years into it, and I'd find my way back there and bring them back over, and we'd be working and living again just like we normally do. Never really seemed to happen. And then we run into this, this whole pandemic, and it's changed everything, so I'm going to I think I'll do some more videos. Didn't really know what I was going to talk about and how I was going to talk about everything. I was just kind of open up, a little bit about, what it's like in the situation that we're in. Everybody that's here, some people are here and actually work somewhere else. They're just stuck here now because this is the only place they can get to. And they got here and they're completely out of place. Not only are they not from here, they don't even work here, but they're here now, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. And I feel bad for them, and so, we'll do some more videos in the very near future as time progresses, especially if the borders start closing up again and we start going down that road where everything's kind of getting locked down again. I'll do some more videos, but I'm going to try and maintain that positivity inside me, that positive energy, and I'm going to do it by, one, staying in close contact with my family. I talk to my family all throughout the day, every single day. I see them every day, hours at a time. And then, hopefully as we're coming out, transition over into a new job in a new area, which is my goal, to get out of here, get back to some place where I can live on the economy, have my own place, and have my family back with me. And that's what I'm working towards. But it doesn't just happen. This is government, so everything moves slow. The good thing is that my babies are still babies, and just hope I can get back with them, living that regular life like we used to, before all of this. We didn't know this was going to happen at the time. If I could go back in time, I think I'd, just take the pay cut and stay back somewhere, rather than, chase the money and end up out here and being stuck like I am right now. But thank you for watching and for listening, and I plan on sharing more in the future. Anyway, good day. Stay healthy, stay fit, and stay positive. Bye.